Today we're going to be learning how to solve one-step inequalities using either addition or subtraction. This process is going to work very similar to what you did when you were solving equations. If you do something on the left, you do the same thing on the right. So the first inequality we're going to look at is y minus 6 is greater than negative 7. To get the variable by itself, we're going to add 6 on each side. So negative 6 plus 6 will cancel because there's 0 pairs. We have y on the left-hand side. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. And then we're just going to keep that inequality symbol just like it is. So we get the inequality y is greater than negative 1. That means we're going to do an open circle at negative 1. And then our line is going to go in the direction of all the numbers greater than negative 1. So that's going to be all these positives over here. And I'm going to put an arrow on the end to show that it keeps going in that direction forever. Second example, we will still want to get the variable by itself. So to cancel out subtracting 3 and 8/10, we will add 3 and 8/10. We'll do that on both sides. We'll line up decimals. So b is by itself. We can add both of these to get 5 and 5/10, and then we're going to keep that same symbol, which is less than or equal. So b is less than or equal to 5 and 5/10. So I'm going to do a closed circle this time at 5.5, and my arrow is going to go to all the numbers less than that. So it's going to go this direction to the left, put an arrow on the end. All right, another example, this time we have some fractions in there. We're still going to try to get z by itself. So to undo subtracting 1/4, we will add 1/4. We'll do that on both sides. So those cancel, and we're just left with z. We need to get common denominators, so I'm going to do that over here on the left. Both of these can be rewritten out of 4. The second one, 1/4, will just stay the same. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So 1 times 2 would be 2, and then that's a negative. So we're going to do negative 2/4 plus 1/4, and that's going to give us negative 1/4. We'll keep the same symbol, which is greater than. So negative 1/4 is greater than z, and that actually means that z is less than negative 1/4. So negative 1/4 is going to be right here. We're going to do an open circle, and it's going to go to the left for all the numbers that are less than negative 1/4. Okay, next we have a geometry example. It says write and solve an inequality that represents x, and it tells us that the perimeter is less than 28 feet. So I'm going to write an expression that represents the perimeter. That would be 7 plus 7 plus x, and it tells me that entire amount needs to be less than 28. Okay, from here we can go ahead and solve. I'm going to first combine 7 plus 7. Then I'm going to subtract 14 from each side. And I get x is less than 14. Since this is a word problem that represents a geometry example, I'm also going to include units, which would be feet. So x can be anything less than 14 feet to make that statement true. All right, last one, we have a situation where you can spend up to $35. So what I always do is I think about what that means. Could I spend exactly 35? Could I spend less than 35? Could I spend more than 35? And in that situation, it needs to be either less than or equal to 35. I can't go over that because I don't have more than $35. Okay, it says you want to buy a shirt that costs $14 and you want an inequality that shows how much money that you will have left. So let's actually pause and define the variable. So I'm going to say M represents money left, how much money you have left. So total, the money you have left, combined with or added to the amount that you're going to spend, all together needs to be less than or equal to 35. All right, now we just need to solve it. So we will subtract 14 from each side. Those are 0 pairs, and we get M is less than or equal to 21. Since this is a word problem, we're going to include units. This represented money, so I'm going to put a dollar sign. So you will have less than or equal to $21 depending on what else you might buy. All right, thanks for watching and hope that helps with solving one-step inequalities.